The text came through while I was arranging peonies in the back of my flower shop, Blossoming Ventures. It was a slow Tuesday afternoon, and the chime of my phone barely registered over the hum of the cooler. "I'm leaving you, Sarah. Moving to Seattle with Jessica. Joint accounts cleaned out? LOL. Good luck." My fingers, dusted with pollen, froze over the stems. At 40, I, Sarah Mitchell, had just received the coldest farewell from my husband of 15 years, David. I didn't flinch. I finished trimming the peonies, helped a customer choose a bouquet for her sister's birthday, and smiled as I wrapped it in our signature lavender tissue. Only a slight clench in my jaw betrayed the storm inside. David thought he'd shattered me, but he didn't know I'd been preparing for this moment for months. The signs had been there. Late-night client meetings that left no trace in his freelance graphic designer's invoices, a new cologne I hadn't bought him, the sudden obsession with spin classes and tailored jackets, as if 47 could be 27 again. 6 months ago, I'd found a receipt for a weekend getaway in Napa Valley, dated for a weekend he'd claimed to be at a design conference. That night, I opened a private savings account at a new bank. When he suggested merging our accounts for better budgeting, I nodded, transferring just enough to our joint account to keep it active, barely 3 months' worth of deposits. The rest of my earnings from the flower shop, which I'd grown from a single stall at the farmer's market to a thriving downtown storefront, stayed safely separate. My phone buzzed again as I locked up the shop. "Don't try to change my mind. Jessica and I fly out tomorrow. I'll grab my stuff later." Jessica, his 22-year-old intern, who'd giggled at his portfolio during a company mixer, her hand lingering on his wrist. I didn't reply. Instead, I called my attorney, Rachel, whom I'd consulted after spotting charges for a romantic dinner on our joint credit card. "It's time," I said. He made his move. "Papers are ready," Rachel replied. "Want them served in Seattle? Let him think he's free for now," I said, picturing David's smug grin. Another text. "I know this hurts, Sarah. You're not exactly young anymore. At least you've got your flowers to keep you busy." My flower shop, which grossed more than his inconsistent freelance gigs, which he'd called cute while I worked late nights building supplier relationships. I smiled, thinking of the divorce papers waiting for him. My shop wasn't just a business, it was my fortress. That evening, in the Victorian home I'd inherited from my aunt and kept solely in my name despite David's hints to add his, I sipped Chamloo System, tea, and organized my financial records. A photo from our wedding day slipped out of a folder, David, younger, softer, before he started chasing youth through affairs and new gym memberships. His texts kept coming, each one sharper. "I've been planning this for months. Jessica gets me like you never did. You'll survive. Maybe find someone more your speed." I saved each one for Rachel, evidence of his intent. The final text made me laugh. "Use the joint card for our flights and hotel. My treat, haha." I called the credit card company immediately. "Sarah Mitchell here. I need to report fraudulent charges and remove an authorized user." "Details, ma'am?" the representative asked. "First-class tickets to Seattle and a stay at the Fairmont, booked today by my husband for himself and his intern. I have texts admitting it. Can I forward them?" "Absolutely," she said, a hint of relish in her voice. The charges were canceled, David's access revoked. He and Jessica would land in Seattle to find their plans in ruins. Another text. What did you do to the card? Our tickets are void, hotels canceled. Answer me. I ignored it, arranging a display of roses for the next day's rush. My shop was my sanctuary, not his cute hobby. By noon, David's sister Emily called. Sarah, he told us you were distant, controlling, that you pushed him away. Now he's saying you sabotaged his trip. I set her on speaker, wiring a corsage. Did he mention draining our account and using our card for his getaway with Jessica? I've got his texts, Emily. Want to hear the one where he mocks my age? A long pause. He was cruel, she admitted. I told him that text was wrong. I appreciate the call, but my lawyer advised no contact with his family during the divorce. Divorce? Already? Her voice faltered. Goodbye, Emily. By afternoon, gossip spread. David and Jessica were holed up in a cheap motel after his personal cards, maxed out from secret spending, failed him. Rachel called, emergency hearing set for Monday. His texts and financial misconduct give us a strong case to freeze assets. Want him served at the motel? Yes, I said. And Jessica's been posting about their epic adventure. Great evidence. David's next text. Think you're clever? I've got copies of the shop's records. Half's mine. I forwarded it to Rachel. My business, started before our marriage and meticulously kept separate, was untouchable. The hearing was a masterclass in preparation. David arrived in a flashy new leather jacket, Jessica outside, looking out of place in the courthouse as stark light. Rachel presented my evidence. His texts, fraudulent charges, a year of shady receipts. David's lawyer stammered. My client made impulsive choices, but Mrs. Mitchell's actions were calculated. Prudent, Rachel corrected. She protected her assets. That's not revenge. It's strategy. The judge eyed David. You admitted to emptying the joint account and misusing shared credit. Deny it? I wanted a clean break, he mumbled. By committing fraud? The judge's brow arched. And you claim rights to her separate property? The shop grew during our marriage, his lawyer tried. Founded pre-marriage with clear financial separation, Rachel countered. We have every transaction documented. The judge froze all shared assets, ordering David to repay the joint account within 24 hours. It's gone, he protested. Then replace it, the judge snapped. And fraud to fund a fling? Poor form, Mr. Mitchell. Outside, I overheard Jessica whining about their ruined plans. My heels clicked past, back to my shop, my empire. 6 months later, Blossoming Ventures opened a second location, fueled by local support and my online store's national buzz. David, meanwhile, crashed. Emily shared that he struggled on dating apps. Women his age saw through him, and younger ones had heard Jessica's warnings. His firm demoted him after an HR probe into his intern affair. He claimed ageism, but it only thickened his file. He told us you were cold, Emily said, visiting the shop, fingering a bouquet. But his actions, those texts, show who he really is. I'm sorry we believed him. Rachel laughed over the phone. He claimed the account text was a joke. The judge asked if LL legalizes theft. The shop's success drew media attention, not for my divorce, but for my business acumen. Young florists asked how I shielded my assets. "Preparation beats paranoia," I told one, who reminded me of Jessica. "Trust your gut." David's mother, Linda, called, lamenting his gambling losses and pyramid scheme flops. "He blames everyone. You, Jessica, his boss. We offered help if he'd own up. He won't." My life bloomed. Plans for a third shop. Maybe orchids next. In my office, I framed David's last text. "Have fun with your flowers. They'll keep you busy in your old age." Below it, my latest business award shone. 1 year later, the third shop's grand opening drew crowds and press. My story now about triumph, not betrayal. Jessica appeared, nervous, clutching a tote. "I owe you an apology. He lied about you, said you were controlling. Then he tried manipulating me. When the money ran dry, I arranged lilies. Those weren't dreams, Jessica, just escapes." "I see that now," she said. "He wanted my apartment as a temporary fix, then complained it was too small. Suggested I borrow for a bigger place. I kicked him out." I chuckled. "Big plans? No funds?" "Exactly. Always once this, once that. Now I'm with someone my age, building something real." My assistant whispered, "Was that the intern?" "No," I said. "Just another woman who learned." Linda called, grateful. "You showed us we enabled his cruelty. He's still at home, blaming everyone. We're done excusing him." The shop became my legacy, a beacon of resilience. Women shopped to support me, boosting sales. "My ex tried to take it all," one customer said, buying a bouquet. "Men like that never expect us to outsmart them." David's texts swung from rage to please. "You've ruined me. I didn't mean it. Let's settle. The shop's half mine." I forwarded them to Rachel, letting him bury himself. Jessica started her own marketing firm, inspired by my grit. She became a regular, buying arrangements for clients. "You showed me how to build something lasting," she said. At the 5-year anniversary of Blossoming Ventures, I celebrated with employees and customers. Linda attended, uninvited, in a dress from my shop. "Mark talks about his glory days," she said. "He doesn't get that he threw it all away." I spoke at a women's business conference, sharing how I protected my empire. "My husband called me paranoid for separating finances," I told a questioner. "He tried claiming half my shop in the divorce." Trust your instincts. Protection isn't paranoia. Now with 5 locations, my shop employed 35 and graced national magazines. David lived above a garage, his job gone in a layoff, his dating profile stuck in young at heart delusion. His framed text hung in my office, "Have fun with your flowers." Below it, my motto, "Success is the best revenge."